so we can get to it because we've had enough delays. All that kind of good stuff. So, did I tell you? Are we on session 18?
18.
18.
18.
My goodness. When we last left our heroes, things, many things were afoot. The one page summary panel shows Sync descending precipitously down the stairwell. Emphasis on the well portion of the stairwell and a lot less on the stair part of the stairwell.
And down.
And down, like descending, hair rushing, clothing, so on and so forth, rushing back in the rush of air. And then Joe hulking, both as an adjective and as a verb, at the meeting table, and fist kind of crushed down into part of the sparking table, looking at Blackbird and Sigrun and Sigrun the Valkyrie. Met kind of, is she on her butt right now? Kind of. I feel like she was sort of like got knocked back sort of by Sigrun's.
Yeah, she took a heavy blow. I don't recall if she dropped in a chair or to the floor.
She
or
certainly
what.
dropped back. Kiln.
Kiln is standing there glowing.
Oh yeah, he was just about ready to like
They
do a thing. They were just about ready to do a thing, do something Kiln like, and Alex sort of at the opposite. If Sigrun were the point of an angle, a 90-degree angle, Kiln was at along one arm, and Agent 37 is sort of along the other arm on the other side of the door, back behind everybody, and sort of conveniently out of the way of anyone's immediate notice, which, per Bill, exactly where they'd like it, I think. So, Roddy navigating by way of years and years and years of accumulated nerd apocrypha, questionable trivia and lore about the layout of the HHL, but navigating nonetheless. And Sigrun's last thing, sort of asking you guys, Alex went along with it. Kiln didn't. Joe didn't.
Yep.
And shifted all over the place. But Kiln was the one that was lighting up. So, with Sigrun having attempted to lay down the law with varying degrees of effectiveness, Kiln having just kind of snapped back into focus, I think I will ask Kiln, what are you doing? I need to get a picture for Sigrun the Valkyrie. I need she's gonna look like, for now, mentally in my head she's what do they call that when there's like the stand-in for a certain like iconic character in like a, it's not Wonder Woman, but it's Wonder Woman in a certain
an homage.
No, there's there's a
Power Princess to Wonder Woman.
The terms are pastiche, or the TV tropes term is XP.
XP, that's what I was thinking of. It was the XP, the TV tropes thing. Who's the Wonder Woman XP in Astro City?
Winged Victory.
Winged Victory, there you go. So that's kind of mentally who I've kind of got in my head a little bit, with like a heavier, or take your favorite Overwatch of Valkyrie skin for Mercy. That works too. Seemed like there was a couple of those floating around. That works pretty well. Oh yeah, this will work. For now. For those of you who aren't steeped in Overwatch-ness. Not that I am anymore, but there's a reasonably decent Sigrun the Valkyrie look for the first 2 seconds. So Sigrun, scowling, laying down the law, voice like 1,000 trumpets. Kiln, what you doing?
You mean besides glowing?
Yeah, I felt like the glowing was headed somewhere.
No, the glowing was kind of a freak going up, mundane going down, similar to Joey getting bigger.
Well, okay, that's fair. I'm still gonna want to know kind of what you do or say next. So Sigrun she hasn't exactly blocked the door, but for all intents and purposes, she is between the door for Joe and Met. Not so much for you, especially if you're quick about it and decide to follow.
I thought the door had sealed already.
Sealed?
Yeah.
Did it?
You're
right. You're right. I forgot.
Blackbird made the door. Yeah.
I don't think Blackbird. Didn't Alex do that?
No, it was Blackbird who was doing the
Blackbird was walking down the building.
Blackbird did the lockdown, or was starting the lockdown, but I thought you guys had sort of Fritz with that. I thought Alex.
So I'll clarify. Alex is prepared to open doors for Roddy. Alex is prepared to open doors for the team if it really comes down to it. But they'd much rather be more subtle about it, so we're going to find out what's going on.
Gotcha. For some reason, I thought Alex had locked the door to keep the HHL, the adults, from heading after Roddy. But
no, they weren't doing that to begin with, so Alex did not interfere.
Gotcha. Okay, never mind. Door's not open. Stuck in here. Sinks on his own. Do you do or say anything? What was the last thing she said? Well, it was the whole you're insects, you don't know what's going on kind of.
Yeah, that was about it.
That was about it. I don't think she said anything after that. We reacted, and it was sort of like tableau.
All right.
So if nobody else asks something, Alex will.
Sure, absolutely.
It seems like things are kind of tense here. Did we get invited here at a bad time?
Invited here? This was okay. Let me think about this for a second. Blackbird.
Howardtronic is in the corner, waving his hands madly at Alex.
He has never wanted shrinking powers so much in his life. Honestly, it looks like he's trying to manifest them. Something, shrinking, something that allows him to go through a wall crack, gaseous form, plastic man, anything. Really, he would take anything at this point. Invited here? Here? In this room? This is not actually Sigrun. This is Blackbird. She kind of she does this thing where, because this is why it's handy to have a little bit of battle mod thing, but I need a faster sketch than any of this, and that's a terrible map that I don't want to fiddle with anyway. So if the table was basically laid out like a horseshoe, where the horns of the horseshoe were sort of pointed at the door, Blackbird's at the leftmost horn point ish, and Joe had cracked that.
I sort of pictured the two of us in close proximity, basically kind of watching each other to see who's going to do something first, since I blocked her getting back to the keyboard.
Right. And I'm just gonna You know what? I'm just going to go like this. It's fine. Well, the keyboard is really like there's theoretically a keyboard at every seated station. She just went to the nearest.
Yeah.
She just went to the nearest one.
That's okay. I can break more of the table.
So there. This is terrible. The worst.
If you're drawing something, we do not see it.
Yeah, I know. Nope. I know. I know you don't. And honestly, you're welcome. But so I'm just gonna ping the map at the. I say map. Wow, I am being very kind to myself. Joe and Blackbird are kind of here-ish. Sigrun's dead center here in the middle. Yeah, the purple line's the window. Met's kind of over here, give or take. In my mind, Kiln's here. Wait, if the door is, let me make it different. If the door is kind of here, then Kiln's on this side and Alex is over here, ish. So when Blackbird, who is facing the rest of the room, hears Alex say something, her response when she turns around and says invited and so on and so forth isn't just to turn and look at you, whether left or right. She turns to her right and also backs up as she's turning. So she does like a 90-degree turn and also backs up, which puts her... Angry Bird Woman is more like here now, and facing that way. Because she's done sort of a pivot and back up because she kudos to Alex because up to that point in time, it didn't seem from her body language she was aware there was another person in the room to keep her eyes on. So it's interesting because she backs up across the room and somehow manages to increase the pressure on Powertronic while backing away from him because he's kind of over here. There you go. Thank you. Lovely. Sigrun can go kind of dead center on the horns of the chair and then or horns of the table and then back a bit. Invited, and then she looks at Powertronic and is like, here in this room today. All meaningful things. And he's like, I didn't invite them today. I was at the school, and one of them snorts like, okay. And he's like, you sent me to the school. You told me that I had PR, FaceTime. I owed you for the karmic whatever. He editing himself as he goes for like stuff that he doesn't need other people to hear.
Or at least thinks that the children shouldn't hear.
Yeah.
Alex is, of course, recording all this.
Yes, of course. You sent me, and then the kid was helpful, and Saturdays are supposed to be PR days, all right? And nobody said anything when I said they were coming. I sent an email. Sigrun then, at that point in time, like, really rolls her eyes. They were already here. They were coming, and they were invited weeks ago. That doesn't have anything to do with this. Probably.
Okay, which one of us can't hold our tongue long enough to say, oh, what is this? Actually, none of us
sure.
ourselves, so...
You want to tell us what this is?
No. It says Powertronic, like without even thinking. And Sigrun gives him this like sort of air chop that actually, like she kind of chops the air in his direction, and it actually seems to have some force behind it. Like she chops the air like shut up, but he actually goes back against the wall. Like, ugh! Kind of a thing. Like a good shove that he wasn't ready for. We frequently welcome visitors from many up-and-coming heroic organizations, including Phoenix Academy. Today is just difficult. We have had a high-level challenge.
Oh, say incident. Say incident. I dare you.
We have had a high-level challenge risk come, and we would prefer not to put innocent visitors at risk. It's awkward, and it's awkward to have you here when we would prefer that our visitors remain safe at all times.
Oh, is that why you have an innocent visitor in your cell unit right now?
Child.
And
don't forget the word child.
Is this Sigrun talking?
Yeah, that was Sigrun saying
Okay.
that. She sounds a little bit less scrambly than I was putting it out, but yeah, Sigrun stops moving when Kiln says that, and does not pivot to take account of Kiln's location and is still facing away from you, because that isn't really something Sigrun necessarily has to worry about. Doesn't think she does. What Sigrun does is she stops moving, just a complete kind of like there's a good solid beat of non-movement. And she doesn't look at Kiln. Her head does that complete stillness to slow pivot and like a lock, like almost like it's being moved by machinery, just because of the sheer control being put into this thing. And she looks at Blackbird sidelong. Like, I don't know. Speaks volumes, possibly. If you're the kind of person who decides.
Unfortunately, it's all Greek.
It speaks volumes.
Was it a look of surprise or a look of how did you let this happen? Or is it like we haven't?
Or I told you so,
or is it?
I think you need to pierce the mask.
Okay.
Because it could be a lot of different things, and I think the nuance here, it speaks volumes, literal, actual, textual volumes, like 13 different abridged volumes.
Go Met, go.
And at least for your group, the nuances of adult looks are a bit obtuse, he said, looking at some of your mundane scores.
Hey, that has nothing to do with whether the person is an adult or not.
She looks like she's sharing a joke. No. She's hungry. No. She just heard some bad news over the phone.
I have two words for the lot of you in that room. Mundane, angry.
Joe raises his hand.
I have two more words. Good luck.
I have a specific pierce the mask ability.
Which one is it?
Called Applied History. When you pierce the mask. Yeah, go ahead.
When you pierce the mask with someone you believe will shape the future, roll Savior.
And we've already determined from my 21st century studies that this is when
they get canceled. Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. You can roll it. You still have the penalty, though, because it is still Pierce the Mask, and Angry still screws with Pierce the Mask.
Okay.
Regardless of what the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
By the way, your mic volume seems down low.
Me or Margie?
No, Margie.
Okay. I can hear her okay.
I don't know if that's true for anybody else, but okay.
I hear her okay.
It is for me. She does sound loud or softer to me, but
okay. She's softer, but I would consider it a conversational level.
Yeah.
On my end.
Maybe it's just because everybody else in my house is so loud today.
You sound lower, you sound quieter, but you also sound closer, so that's it. I think it balances out. Anyway.
Okay.
Roll away. So you want to roll, but you'll have to self-apply the -2, please, because it won't know to.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, it won't know to apply angry. Roll Savior. 7.
-2.
That's with the -2. Because she had a +3 for Superior. Or for Savior, whichever one it was.
I'm not seeing -2 showing up in the.
It just shows as a 1.
Takes it off of my
okay,
bonus.
got it. Okay.
All she's adding is 1. So when you pierce mask. I mean, for me, like, what does this look mean? It sounds more like for me, that falls underneath, like, what are you really planning? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if you go another thing, it's like, she's given the look, but I'm more curious about X. If there's another question there that piques your fancy.
Actually, I think what do you intend to do is maybe a little closer than what are you really planning.
Sure. What do you intend to do?
Is she gonna blast us all right now, or
no?
Is she gonna take Blackbird's head off for having this be exposed?
I will say that. So what you can fill in from Blackbird is the look, and you know enough about what you know about the HHL, at least baseball card level knowledge of the HHL, is that Blackbird is, what would we say, a flying brick kind of thing, but also kind of the tactician. Not Batman exactly, but the planner, the security person. It doesn't surprise you that that she was the one that went to the computer console, so to speak.
Martian Manhunter.
Sure.
In jail, you.
Sure. So given that, the look of
because no one else wants the job.
The look that these kids are saying, why do you have them in a security cell? And she's giving you the look of like the one thing that they should not know is going on. They know, and you're the one who's in charge of keeping people from knowing stuff, like that kind of a, or alternately, you know what? No. I'm gonna backtrack on that. The look is a look between like mutual leaders of that sound you just heard was the sound of everything getting way more complicated. Shit. That was the look that she gave Blackbird.
Fuckity fuck.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, that kind of, exactly. Well, son of a bitch. But you don't think, based on the what do you intend to do, you don't think that the next move is, well, guess we have to kill them all. Like, that's not the intend to do thing.
Always good to hear.
Which is good news.
Well, we got more cells downstairs.
No, it's sort of the grim determination of, this is not going to blow up in my face, in our face. We're going to fix this. We are going, that what do you intend to do is get this train wreck back on the tracks and going again. Come hell or high water. So
which was a fight against a bunch of supervillains. We'd be going, clapping and rooting.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, her intent here is to get things back under control. So Kiln says, what does that have to do with the innocent sitting in the thing? And she turns to Kiln.
They're going to treat us like children.
She turns to Kiln and puts her and says, Gothwitch is in that cell for her protection. It was the most secure location that we had immediately available that wouldn't be ridiculously compromised by having a non-HHL member in it. And we put her there because she is a witness to a heinous act by an incredibly dangerous and powerful individual who would do her great harm if they could get their hands on her. And we are protecting her from that person.
Why is she terrified to death?
I did and she doesn't, this one, she's looking at Kiln. She does not actually look at you. She just gestures in your general direction while she's still got her eyes on Kiln and says, I did just mention the incredibly heinously dangerous individual who would have her dead.
And so you're leaving her locked up in a room by herself for her own safety without any comfort and support?
I'm not a therapist! And she shouts, and all the glass in the place breaks.
By the way,
yes.
I would very much like you to try and give me a heads up, if you can, and if it's legal, as to what is the tipping point in the conversation going forward?
Toward things like the canceling thing?
I just want to know, before I say something, I'm trying to put it in the most effective point in the conversation.
Okay. I mean, not to get too meta about it, but the important tipping point is going to be when you decide to make the important tipping point. But there's a bunch of stuff going on. So she kind of snaps a little bit, you know. Now, the HHL is very well funded. We are happy to pay for therapy if she happens to have some sort of, if she's shell-shocked, war-shocked, whatever they call it today, and Blackbird, post-traumatic stresses. Yes, post-traumatic, whatever.